Every day, children disappear. We read the news, sigh with sympathy, and think to ourselves, oh my God, never let it be my child. But, are you ever really prepared for the worst? This is the story of Christmas in Lagos, a place of twinkling lights, joyful children's laughter, and a 6-year-old girl named Kioma, as beautiful as an angel. Her family has it all: money, status, a perfect party. Everyone thinks everything is safe. Until, in just a moment of carelessness, Kioma took Santa Claus's hand and disappeared into the night. Disappeared, completely. What happened in that fairyland? Who is behind the benevolent smile that hides the crime? And how will the Kioma family live with this pain? This story is not just a tragedy, it's a chilling wake-up call for all parents. A reminder that a moment of carelessness can change everything. Let's explore the haunting story of that fateful Christmas night. If you want me to try a different style or adjust the length, just let me know. Amara was raised in a prosperous Lakey household. Both parents were prosperous, well-liked, constantly wore elegant clothing, and frequently attended social gatherings. They took her to Emerald Gardens Park, one of Lagos' most opulent children's parks, for the great Christmas Wonderland celebration on December 24th. Fairy lights hanging from every tree, enormous bouncy castles, fountains, lush green lawns, and even artificial snow that falls softly from machines for effect. It was a child's wonderland. By 2 p.m., the park was crowded with affluent families, laughing children, photographers capturing photos, food vendors offering everything from shawarma to sugar floss, and parents enjoying cold beverages beneath gazebos that had been decorated. Excited, Amara sprinted ahead of her parents. She desired ice cream, photographs, and a seat on the stranger's knee. While changing her wig, her mother's long, straight, silky human hair glistened in the light as she carried her dazzling pocketbook. Her father shook his hands, laughed, and hardly paid attention as Amara danced with her balloon while he greeted business associates. Everything seemed secure. Everything seemed typical. Everything was happy. Children ran around unhindered. Parents were absorbed in their discussions. The stranger Claus strolled about snapping photos with kids. A location so beautiful could never conceal peril. An announcement came over the speakers. Round for 10 p.m. the stranger is going to deliver some very special presents. Every child congregates close to the enormous Christmas tree. Kids let out excited screams. Parents applauded. The music began. Amara's eyes grew wide. "Mummy, let me go," she begged, grabbing her mother's hand. "My gift is with the stranger." With a distracted smile, her mother waved her hand. "All right, join the other children. Remain where I can see everyone." She wasn't looking though. Amara disappeared into the wave of happy kids sprinting in the direction of the enormous 20-foot Christmas tree, which was adorned with hundreds of lights, red decorations, and gold ribbons. The stranger Claus in the middle had a plush bed, a large red suit, and a deep voice when he chuckled. "Ho ho ho, come pick up your unique presents." Parents conversed and took photos of the group while standing far away beneath the gazebos, but none of them paid attention to a single detail. The party had to the strangers, an official and an unofficial one. The unofficial, the stranger was standing behind the tent with a gleaming gift box covered in gold paper. As Amara searched for her present, the second the stranger bent down, whispered, "Hey princess, your special gift is with me," and waved at her. "Let me give it to you. Come on." Amara paused for a moment. She searched for her parents. She failed to notice them. Once more, the stranger extended his hand. "Don't worry. Come, I've got something special for you." Amara put her tiny hand in his beloved palm and smelled softly the innocent, trusting scent that only a kid can offer. He walked her behind the red and gold tent while holding it tenderly. Not even the parents, the guards, the cameras, or the crowd had noticed yet. The last anyone saw of Amara was when she vanished beneath the tent. For nearly 20 minutes, no one noticed the problem. With music blaring, kids smiling, entertainers bouncing on stage, and bubbles drifting across the lawns, the Christmas Wonderland party was in full flow. Parents were occupied with taking pictures for Instagram, repairing their wigs, changing their clothes, drinking cocktails, and catching up with friends they hadn't seen in a long time. When one of her friends cracked a joke, Amara's mother burst out laughing. Amara's father was engrossed in a business discussion with 2 other men about a new real estate transaction. On the outside, everything appeared to be flawless, but a 6-year-old girl had disappeared somewhere in the glitzy mayhem. The photographer was the first to express alarm. He had been photographing kids around the Christmas tree. He saw something strange when he looked at his camera's preview. Amara had appeared in one of the pictures, standing at the group's edge. But she was abruptly absent from the next few pictures. which were taken a few seconds later. He frowned as he zoomed in. Where had she disappeared to? Trying to find her red and white outfit, he scanned his surroundings. Nothing. At first, he dismissed it. She might have fled to her parents. When Amara's mother eventually looked around the throng 20 minutes later, she was hoping to find her daughter dancing with other children. She failed to notice her. She stood up on her toes and looked about. Nothing has changed. She takes a step forward and scowls a little. Amara? No response. She made her way past the throng of kids sprinting toward the Christmas tree. Amara? Nothing has changed. Her pulse quickened. She walked more quickly now, patting the shoulders of random kids. Have you seen a 6-year-old girl wearing silver shoes, afro puffs, and a red Christmas dress? The majority of children shook their heads. Her stomach grew constricted. She gave her spouse a call. Where's Amara, Chidi? He stopped talking in the middle. Does she not accompany you? No. His smile vanished in an instant. They both looked around the throng. Nothing. Not a hint of silver shoes. Not a hint of red. Nothing. She was so overcome with panic that she felt lightheaded. Amara, her voice broke. Parents pivoted. Kids stopped. All of a sudden, the music seemed too loud, too invasive, and too far away. Chidi hurried to the stage and ordered the DJ to turn off the music. Everyone, pay attention. There is a missing youngster. Amara is 6 years old, wearing a red and white outfit and silver shoes. Please take a look around you. The park as a whole froze. Security personnel hurried to the gates and forcefully closed them. No one was permitted to depart. Parents started yelling directions. Look everywhere. Examine the tents' backs. Take a peek behind the stage. Examine the restrooms. Kids were perplexed. Mothers were in tears. Men started to disperse like soldiers throughout the park. The lovely Christmas celebration quickly turned into a last-ditch hunt. They inspected every tent, every nook, the playground, the restrooms, the vacant vendor stands, and the bouncing castles. There was no sign of Amara. One of the guards then discovered something near a bush in the park's rear. A small Christmas shoe, silver, her sneaker. In an instant, her mother passed out. My infant shoe is the one. My baby, oh God. Her father's eyes were wide with shock and his face was pale as he shook his hands to catch the shoe. Where is she? My child is where? Security hurried to examine the CCTV footage. Holding their breath, parents gathered around. At 4:10 p.m., Amara was seen on camera approaching the Christmas tree. Then she was approached by a man dressed as the Stranger Claus. The official, the stranger. No. This one was thinner, had a different tint of beard, and wore shoes that weren't appropriate for the outfit. He dropped on his knees. He addressed her. He took her hand. She trailed behind him. Behind the red and gold tent, they strolled. The screen immediately became black. Inexplicably, the camera at that viewpoint had been switched off. Everyone felt a chill. Jesus, my baby, her mother cried. Help me, please. Her dad pounded the table with his fist. Look for that, the stranger. Locate him immediately. Every area of the park was examined by security. However, the man had vanished. Amara was also absent. The police showed up. Over the park, drones were launched. Teams of searchers searched the surrounding roads, the bushes, and even the drainage holes. However, nothing was present. No sound, not a hint, not even a shade. The Christmas air itself seemed to have sucked Amara up. It got dark. The light glistened. The music had long since stopped. Parents clutched their own children closer as they whispered to one another in terror. And Amara's lovely Christmas tale has turned into the worst nightmare for all parents. Something changed in the air as soon as darkness descended on the park. What had begun as a happy celebration in December now felt chilly, unsettling, and excruciatingly silent. Once adding a sense of wonder, the shimmering Christmas light now flickered like a warning. The night felt oddly eerie, even with the artificial snow machine still throwing gentle flakes into the air. Whispering and giving their kids tight hugs, parents congregated in small groups. Some moms started crying because they understood the anxiety that arises when a kid suddenly perceives the world as hazardous. Not because Amara was their blood. The glitzy woman with gold and straight bone hair, who had arrived earlier, was not at all like Amara's mother. Her clothing was wrinkled from frequently dropping to the ground, her wig was tilted, and her makeup was ruined. As though her voice alone could bring Amara out of hiding, she continued to yell her daughter's name. Come on out, Amara. Please, baby. In an attempt to prevent her from collapsing once more, her husband hugged her. They were led by the police out of the crowd and into a private tent so they could speak. Please sit, sir, or ma'am. Her mother rejected the gentle words of one officer. Tell me not to sit. Locate my kid. Look for my mum. The muscles in her father's face twitched as he tightened his jaw. What are your men up to? You know, my daughter has vanished. She was taken by the stranger-clad man. How are you all trying to get her back? We've blocked all the exits, sir. The gates are secured. Since the announcement, nobody has left this park. Where is my daughter? Then where is she if the gates are locked? The cop took a deep breath. We think the suspects may still be on the property. Every parent present at the party froze in fear at those remarks. It's possible that the stranger who abducted Amara is still among them, observing them while feigning involvement in the search. Security hurried through the crowd, looking at everyone's faces and inspecting each tent, costume, and luggage, sweating excessively, peering overly composed, standing by themselves, avoiding eye contact, and attempting to depart. They looked about for anyone. They also lined up the clowns, magicians, dancers, and children's performers, and took off their wigs and masks one by one. Nothing, not the stranger. No hints, not Amara. The CCTV crew continued to go through the film at the gate, zooming in, rewinding, and examining faces. They validated everyone's fears. This was well planned by the imposter, the stranger. With the exception of one little angle that caught him off guard, he avoided every exit. Only his shoes, which were dark red boots with a silver buckle and did match the official, the stranger's attire, were seen. His face was not clearly visible. Amara's mother froze inside the tent. She started to breathe shallowly. Her eyes were wild and wide as she gazed at the officer. I beg you, officer, to assure me that she is still alive. Please. The cop looked down. We are treating this as a kidnapping even though we don't yet know. Even strangers started crying when her mother let out another loud, agonizing scream that reverberated across the park. The hunt grew more intense outside. Security officers were arranged in rows. Volunteers carried flashlights, and police swept the surrounding streets, shrubs, and grass. Dogs sniffed everywhere. Now, gasoline-powered vehicles encircled the park. A nightmare of flashing red and blue lights was present. A guard discovered something more, at about 9 o'clock. Red pearls on a tiny white headband. The headband of Amara. It lay next to another exit gate, which should have been locked. It wasn't secured. The padlock had been tampered with by someone who used a tool to cut it clean. When her father saw it, he almost passed out. He brought her out here. He took my baby out. Oh my God. Instructions erupted from the police radios. Sweep the back road. Team B check the perimeter. Team C check the gutters and bushes. Officers, again. Though, nothing. The suspect was nowhere to be found. Amara was no longer there. Hours went by. Hope became increasingly dwindling. Parents were bringing their kids home by midnight. The earlier laughter has completely faded. The fireworks were no longer important to anyone. The food stands were of no interest to anyone. Christmas didn't matter to anyone. Amara was all that mattered to them. Whispering, "My baby, my baby, my baby." Her mother rocked back and forth while sitting on the grass. Her husband started phoning everyone he knew, including journalists, private security, retired military personnel, and detectives. If necessary, he promised to destroy Lagos. Despite searching till daybreak, police were unable to find anything. No clothes, no footsteps, no hint, not even a shadow. The Christmas party area appeared to be a cemetery by dawn. Silent, empty, and deserted. And there was a 6-year-old child missing out there. Furthermore, no one was aware of her location, or whether she was still alive. Lagos woke up the next morning to the kind of news that makes every parent's heart sink. A 6-year-old child went missing following a lavish Christmas celebration in Lekki. Once more, kidnappers posed as the stranger claws. Little Amara disappears. Police begin a comprehensive search. Amara's pictures were all over the place before 8 a.m. Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, and Twitter broadcast groups. Every phone, TV station, and screen featured her face. The happy little girl in her red and white Christmas attire is now a representation of a nightmare that no family should ever go through. Her parents didn't get much sleep. They didn't sleep at all. In fact, restlessly, her father paced the house, phoning radio stations, security firms, investigators, and anybody else who might be able to assist. His eyes were puffy and his voice was raspy, but he would not give up. Her mother rocked back and forth while sitting on Amara's bed with her beloved teddy bear. Since they arrived home, she hadn't eaten, changed, or spoken in complete sentences. All she could say in a murmur was, "Bring my daughter back. Bring her back. Please, please." The house felt chilly, quiet, and lifeless after being decked out in Christmas decorations and soothing music. That morning, the police started their formal search. The whole park was cordoned off. Every vendor's truck was examined. Every employee was interviewed. They questioned all of the performers, particularly the stranger who was hired. They looked through minor roads, bushes, and houses in the area. The CCTV footage of Amara touching hands with the unidentified, the stranger, was made public. Online users were appalled. Because the stranger wasn't on the official squad. What prevented security from spotting the stranger? Who let this man in? Why weren't kids properly watched? Soon after, the blame started. Some placed the blame on the government, some on the parents, some on the organizers, and some on the security. But Amara didn't return home because of any of that. By the second day, the police had broadened their search to include neighboring roads, streams, bush pathways, short-lit apartments, abandoned buildings, and unfinished structures. They brought more officers, tracking dogs, and drones. Nothing. No fingerprints. No the stranger's suit. No shoe. No hair ribbon. No video from the camera. No description of the car. And no eyewitness. It appeared as though the earth had engulfed Amara. Her mother absolutely stopped talking. Her dad gave up eating. The house turned into a site of perpetual fear, weeping, and prayer. Pastors arrived. Counselors arrived. Security specialists arrived. And relatives flew in. Even strangers offered assistance at the gate. However, no lead was ever found. The whole family was devastated by an incident that occurred on the third night. The 14-year-old daughter of a neighbor arrived at the house, trembling. "I think I saw Amara that night, but I wasn't sure," she remarked. Desperately, her mother took hold of her arm. Where did you see her, please?" The girl shuddered. "She was by the Christmas tree when I noticed her. The stranger who took her didn't resemble the strangers. He appeared irate, and Amara didn't appear content. I didn't give it much thought, because I assumed she might be acting inappropriately." Her mom sobbed once more. Her father yelled, "Why didn't you speak up that day?" and hurried out of the home while hitting the air. "Why didn't you speak up?" Before he passed out, his family had to restrain him. The girl apologized while crying, but it was no longer important. The damage was already done. Amara was yet to be found. A new dread emerged before the end of the week. Is she still alive? Are they trafficking her? Did wealthy families become the target of kidnappers? Did criminals plan the party? There were more devastating inquiries. When Amara was taken, what was on her mind? Was she crying for her mom? Did she seek assistance? Was she expecting a Christmas present from them? Those queries were too much for her mother to handle. Twice she passed out. The cops discovered one silver buckle on the 10th day, although it was discovered next to a drainage outlet, far from the park. It matched the stranger boots seen in the CCTV film. This suggests that the kidnapper had taken a covert path, and if he made it that far, Amara might be anywhere. The likelihood that Amara would be discovered alive was dwindling by the week. The case grew cold by the 6th week. Questions from reporters gradually ceased. They went on to more recent examples. She stopped having her images posted on social media. For everyone else, life went on, but not for her parents. Every Christmas, her mother still prepares a meal for Amara. Her father maintained her room immaculate, unaltered, and ready for her. He went back to the same park every December 24th and stood there looking into the void in silence. Amara was never discovered, and every Christmas became a reminder of the night innocence vanished. Not a trace, not a body, not an article of clothing. Just agony, just memories, and just stillness. A lovely child vanished on a joyful night. A young girl who put her trust in a smiling the stranger, only to have him turn out to be an unknown villain. Before we wrap up this tale, I would like to know who you would blame the most if you were Amara's parent. The safety, the planners, or oneself. At public gatherings, should parents let their kids roam around freely? Do you think affluent families are more brutally targeted? Do you believe Amara is still alive someplace, or was she mistaken for someone else? This tale serves as a reminder to all parents that even a single moment of negligence can permanently alter a family. Every story has a lesson, so if this one resonated with you, allow it to inspire your path and lead your heart. I hope this African folktale was enjoyable to you. If so, kindly subscribe to this channel so that we can share more incredible, transformative tales. Remember to leave a comment, like, and share. The next narrative is already on your screen. If you're still interested, I appreciate you watching. Thank you. I'll see you in the upcoming video.